So guys, what I want to talk about here is my rear wheel drive conversion of my MST MS-01D. So as you can see, it's now full rear wheel drive, and this is the steering lock that I have right now. Wait, binding now, there we go. So what have I done here? Obviously, as you can see where the spur and the motor is located now, I change this used to be the front and now it's the rear. And if I turn around here, this is where the bumper used to mount and now it's no longer there. Obviously, this is the rear shock tower. I got the carbon fiber one, and now it's where the front used to be. I have the spool, aluminium spool in the back. So what have I done? I have the advantages of having a 3D printer at home, and when I had some spare time I designed this conversion. It has the blue 3D printed parts, so it's this one here as a reinforcement where the battery used to sit, and this front bulkhead. Now this is also a 3D printed part. This was a test part. I had these holes here so I could try different setups and see what worked out the best. This is what I end up with after modifying some other parts. So these gray parts here, I don't know if you can see, sorry about my very messy workbench, but yeah, I don't have much time, and when I have, I never clean up after I work. I designed these extra long arms that you see here. Everything here is stock except for these, done on the 3D printer. And also this part here, this is the most important part because it replaces these. This position, it replaces these. The problem with these is that you have this support here that doesn't allow you to have arms passing here on this position, and you need to have good steering. You need the arms to pass on this side. So what I did was, let me catch that. I designed some new pieces that you can see kind of. Let me try to get some more light here. See that gray part there? Now it's where the arm passes. Very tight fit, but it works. So now if I show you from the top, it has some respectable steering angle now. Let me see if I can show it to you. Let me see if it doesn't bind. See? It's really nice for what I needed. So I printed all these parts. This one here in the gray, this structural part that I tried to show you, at least there, that has some bushings for the threads. I also had to make these spacers there so they would work with this height, the height of the front bulkhead, the front deck. And what else? I grabbed a piece of carbon fiber and make this so I could support the bumper. And for the rear, everything is stock, as you can see. battery placement. Battery, actually, this is still a 1000 milliamp hour 5000 milliamp hour battery, so it's quite large for what guys use nowadays in drifting, at least in competitive drifting. But I had this car for a long time and I still use the same batteries because I'm cheap and they are still okay. So for now this is what I will use. As you can see, I have this. It's quite dirty. I was testing it this afternoon in my backyard, and I had this when I used to have this as a four-wheel drive. I had this in the front, actually in this position, to have an extra bearing here to adjust the pulleys, no, what's this, the belt, to adjust the belt tension. So I had this here, and actually the height is perfect, so I support the battery here on the shock mounts. Well, it's not perfect, but let's say it works. I support the battery here and here, and with the straps it stays on the right place. I can still mount my body with the interior. I had to make some changes to the interior, unfortunately. And yeah, now I'm really happy with this afternoon. After the last few changes, the afternoon when I tried this setup, it's working really well. Still have to do some more trimming of the body. Now I see that it's binding a little bit, maybe a bit too much steering for that side. This side is okay, that side not so much. Anyway, something else to look at, but this is my general setup. If you like it, comment. If you want one of these conversions, drop me a line. Maybe I can work something out. This is basically all stock parts and 3D printed parts, so very easy to do. Ah yes, the suspension, I also changed the suspension, the front suspension. Well, now it's the front, it used to be the rear. So I have this system here with the arms that now I don't recall the name in English, but anyway, these adjustable arms. I used to run them in the outer hole, and I didn't need this spacer that you see there, that nut, because but the wheel was hitting there, so I changed it to the most inside hole of it. And also the shock had to be moved, or else, because of the relationship between the holes was not the same, this was extra hard. The hardness increased even though I didn't change the spring rate or anything, because I moved the hole, you have less leverage, and so it was stiffer, so I had to change the shock as well. But anyway, when I did this part, I did it that way so I could adjust both ways, but the shock was just hitting there, still is very tight. And maybe I'll design a new part like this one and change it a little bit. Anyway, this is my setup. It works, kind of. I still have to do some testing, maybe do some videos, and I'll upload it whenever I can. Cheers.